Guess what I'm wearing? Guess what I'm wearing? The uniform! Loved the intro. As soon as I saw that intro and the music, I knew this was going to be a great episode. Loved the wedding and attention at the wedding and attention at the reception and all the opportunities that this mission had to fail and it didn't. I was okay with Serena's moment. She was annoying throughout the majority of the episode, but then she gave us potentially the hardest hitting line of the whole episode, potentially of the season. I can't believe this line came from Serena's mouth. Anyway, I loved seeing that plan take form and seeing them enact their revenge. And I was okay with Aunt Lydia's moment. I will discuss it. If you've been here, you know what I kind of wanted. And we had a little bit of it, just in a different tone. But I think it worked. I will discuss it. Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Jo and I review all of your favorite TV shows and give you all my delusional theories. I'm speaking so fast because I just want to get the episode. If you want to support me, you can like the video, subscribe, comment, join my YouTube membership, join my Patreon, The Handmaid's Tale episode 8. Exodus. I am so happy that the Exodus is the Exodus of the Handmaids. Like I said this in one of my videos, I just hope I would be satisfied if the Exodus was the Exodus of the Handmaids, and it was. It was not only the Exodus of the Handmaids, it was the Exodus of the Handmaids in the same night as the Exodus of the Commanders, as they leave life. Guys, I'm going to be so absolutely demented during this video. I don't even know if I'm going to post this video today because I think I'm going to take way too much time to delve into everything that happened in this episode because I'm very happy about it and I need to speak slower. Why am I holding a toilet paper roll? Because my allergies are attacking me and I need it, okay? And it's also, I like to have objects in my hand. Anyway, I usually write a script for these videos because I like my ideas to be somewhat organized. However, I did not write one because as you can see, I'm very excited about this episode. So what I'm going to be doing is rewatching it for the third time only and kind of giving you my impressions as I'm watching it again. And you can already expect this video to be divided in so many sketchy ass calls. You can already expect this video to be divided in the sections of exploring the introduction, which was amazing, exploring the wedding and the tension at the wedding and at the reception, exploring the plan happening and taking place, and then Serena's moment and Aunt Lydia's moment. I think this is going to be the organization of the video. As usual, I will leave timestamps below for you to skip to the sections you are more interested in. Anyway, let's go. This introduction was so beyond amazing. I will never shut up about this because, we know that The Handmaid's Tale knows how to use music and have consistently used really good music to enhance the scenes that they, give us in this show. But this introduction set the tone for the episode so well, and I need to talk about several different aspects. One, June's soft-spoken, narration over the images of them, doing the dyeing of the clothes and then cutting them, putting them in the little hangers just for them to go straight to June and Moira to sew the knives in. Beautiful. Because her soft-spoken speech is kind of contrasted with the music that we hear throughout the whole scene. And all the while she is just narrating very softly into our ears. All the while we see the knives being put in the robes. We see them getting dressed. We see them going to the wedding. Completely silent because they are handmaids. We have this music in the background screaming in our ears. Basically, that meme where people have headphones on and they look very professional or very casual and are listening to the most deranged music. This is what I was thinking, inside their own heads, this is the kind of music that would be playing. This is the kind of mental state they're in. They look very calm. They look very domesticated. They look very silenced, but inside there, they are screaming. And this is even brought back at the end where June makes her speech to Aunt Lydia that they were trained to be basically sex slaves, silent sex slaves, but inside their own minds, they are screaming for freedom and respect and dignity. And setting the tone with this music and this specific scene, these scenes of them getting ready and the ants like building their clothes were just beautiful. They even like found a way for June to insert more modern topics of our very real world with the clothing landfills that are currently a big issue. Like, and it doesn't even seem out of place because we don't know all the details of what happened before Gilead. We know that a lot of bullshit happened to make women infertile or make it harder and harder for women to be fertile and have kids. So putting in these little details that are related to our world is just so fun and it works with the show. And I love the entire introduction for setting this tone of we appear silent, we appear docile, but we are plotting your murder. Exactly what June told Serena all those, I don't know how many months ago. It was great. It was perfect. Like, when I watched this intro, I was like, yes, this is going to be a good episode. And it was. And it was. Like, I kind of hope this becomes like a trend on social media of people like having this voiceover narration about, you know, that we overconsume clothes and then we dispose of them to countries that can't deal with them. And I hope this becomes a trend on social media, people having this narration all the while, like, stopping completely overconsumption of clothes, stop buying all those useless pieces of clothing. That would be heaven for me. Heaven. Like, this is what we've been hearing for a while, because the first time that June made that speech of if they didn't want us to rise up, if they didn't want us to be an army, they shouldn't have dressed us in uniforms. That was season 1, no? That she made that speech for the first time, because I think that's in the book as well. So, I mean, what a good way to start the episode, bringing that back, reminding the audience that these are not docile women, that they are in a position where they have no power, but they are fighting the whole time. They are fighting. I'm in heaven with this introduction. I'm sorry, I am. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what your like impressions were. Were you also like, oh, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. Tell me in the comments. And then at the wedding, like just as they sit down and the music completely shifts from this very, I'm going to burn your country to the ground, to a very, you know, Catholic church, good people, good American families. Sorry, I had to make the joke. And we see the handmaids literally packed into like army formation as they are sitting down on the church. Beautiful. And also, like, as the wedding like happens and takes place and we see everyone sitting down in their positions and we see Nick appearing with Rose and sitting her down next to the wives, and then he goes up to the podium, like he goes up to wait for Commander Wharton and eventually Serena, and then he takes the place of the priest. Like, I didn't know what I was expecting to see because they don't have priests. It's not that kind of religion. But Nick taking the place of the priest was so goddamn weird. And I feel like Nick's entire presence in this episode is kind of to keep the audience on their toes, kind of to keep this impression of he has completely aligned with the commanders, he has completely, you know, gone over to their side, he's Wharton's right-hand man, he's doing the speech at his wedding and all this shit. We see him throughout the wedding and the reception just mostly being there as furniture, but the small little glimpses that we have of him, he's not happy. He's not happy at all. I don't think there is anything in this episode about Nick that will lead us to have any conclusions about him. And next episode is going to be the hanging. So we'll see. This discussion will continue in a week, I guess, about Nick. Because today's focus is not Nick. And it's not Nick or June. And it's not any romantic interests, well, apart from Serena and Wharton. This episode's interest and focus is the goddamn revolution starting. I'm sorry that I look so deranged. I'm just really happy for this episode. I know that I'm going to be way too praisey of it. I'm going to be like maybe a little blind to some of the flaws, but they will come in time, and you can comment. You can comment to the flaws that I overlooked. But yeah, the moment the wedding starts, the tension starts to build, and it builds all the way through the wedding and the reception. And I haven't felt this much anxiety in a Handmaid's Tale episode since like not even the plain episode. I don't know, for a while. I haven't felt this much anxiety, probably since Fred, actually. So yeah, this is what we've come to know the Handmaid's Tale for, is this capacity that they have to portray these very fictional situations, but they are so, in a way, realistic that we imagine they could happen, and we imagine how we would feel in this position, that they make us feel so anxious about it, and they did it again. And I mean, it just must feel different these days because of everything that is happening in the US. I mean, we're dealing with all of that bullshit here as well. We are very much afraid of the next elections this coming Sunday. So yeah, I really love the tension, and to a certain extent, every little moment of it was adding to it. If it wasn't a challenge, it was an added layer. For example, when we see in the wedding that Rita is sitting with the wives, or like somewhere in between the wives and the Econo people, or something like that, and she's like dressed in deep blue, I was thinking, what are you doing? What? And then when they're passing the knives, in the wedding, they're passing to each other, and one of them falls, and it's like that moment of, do we go off plan? Do we attack now? What do we do? And like June is the beacon of organization, of hope. And it's like, no, we stick to the plan and everything works out. But yeah, the tension was so goddamn good. Like, they didn't waste a single moment, because even as Nick is making his speech about praising God and God this and God that and whatever, you see the handmaids passing the knives, and it's like, at one point of this scene is kind of making us angry about this person still buying into the system, and about all of these people just still living through with the rules of the system and enjoying this festive time or whatever. And at the same time that this is happening in the same scene, they are literally building the goddamn revolution. It was just well done. Like, they didn't waste a minute with this episode. I just appreciate it very much. I think maybe some of the other episodes were a bit less good than this one, because they knew this would hit hard. And then the wedding ends. We start the reception, and the tension passes immediately to the reception. And just one thing that I want to note, that it was just hilarious to me, the hypocrisy that Serena had in this moment. And I will talk about her little speech to the handmaids, but like, the handmaids were sat at the wedding the whole time in those goddamn benches with no tables even in front of them. So this idea that Serena has, that she wants to, do right by the handmaids and whatever, like, all the while they don't even have plates during the wedding. They can't even eat. They have to spend the whole day watching these people be happy, and they can't even freaking eat. The only thing they get is the cake, because it's the treat that they get because it's the wedding, which they can't even eat because, well. But we see the handmaids kind of nodding. The handmaids, they have a posting, and they give them the knives as well, all the while like the people are dancing very happily. It was just the contrast in this episode of every little scene that is contrasting, like the most powerful people in Gilead celebrating themselves at the same time as the least powerful people in Gilead are planning their deaths. It's like the culmination of the whole show, when like, it's the whole thing of June being like, yeah, you're going to play to their bullshit, all the while they're planning their murder. And this is what's happening right now. Like, they're celebrating their cute little life, their cute little wedding. All the while, the people they are abusing are sat in the corner, no tables, no rights, just benches to watch your happiness, and they are plotting your murder. I am in heaven right now. And like, the whole time you are watching the reception, you're thinking, oh, are they going to attack now? Are they going to attack now? And then eventually just realize what the plan is. Because maybe it's just me, but I didn't realize it immediately. I'm sorry. I thought maybe the wedding was like to knock everyone out in the wedding so that they could go around the room and just... But no, the plan was smart, because June made it. The cake didn't have anything to arm the people. It had something to make them sleep. So after they eat the cake, 2 hours later, they go very sleepy. And that's when the handmaids come from their rooms in the houses, because the commanders are all there. It's like a Trojan horse. And they stab them while they sleep. How beautiful is that? Because they're going to die like cute little angels. And then during the wedding, there are all these little things that kind of make us even more anxious because it's like, who's going to figure it out? Is it going to be Serena when Serena goes to Lawrence and Lawrence is super nervous? Is he going to be Serena when Serena goes to the handmaids? And is she going to see June? Like when she was talking to the handmaids, first of all, hypocrite. What do you mean you are good friends with June? Like, this is what I was saying in my last review or a couple of reviews ago. Like, sure, Serena may think that, but that is not true. That's just Serena's delusions. That's that's the fact that she said that they were equal in, what was it? Revenge and spite. I wanted to punch her in the face. This is what I mean about Serena being annoying for so long. But the thing I think about Serena, and maybe Aunt Lydia as well, and maybe to a certain extent Wharton, I will talk about it, is that the way they can come to realize how messed up what they've been doing is, can never be the same way that the handmaids know it. Because Serena could never fully admit to herself that this system of belief that she has is completely wrong. So she starts to admit it to herself in small little bites, because how else can she do it? Because she still believes in Gilead. She still believes in the idea that people should lead more traditional lives. She still believes in those core systems. She's now seemingly coming to the realization that living a more traditional life doesn't mean having concubines. So I find it interesting the way that she's coming around about certain things that she would come around about the handmaids, but not the whole system in itself. I think it actually makes sense for a character, and I will explore it a little bit more in her scene. But yeah, the fact that she's at the wedding trying to welcome the handmaids in a system where handmaids could never have dignity or respect or equality to any other woman is insane, because this is a system that exists only by suppressing and oppressing women and the small people of this society. And I mean, I think she comes to it later. We'll talk about it. I cannot believe that line came out of her mouth. But when she's talking to the handmaids, I'm so annoyed about it. And it's so dynamic. This episode was good. I cannot believe they gave us this episode. It was so dynamic because the aunt is aligned with the handmaids. So the whole time she's trying to get Serena out of there. But Serena, on her hand, is trying to do a good thing for them, is trying to appreciate them because she thinks that's the right thing to do in her disturbed mindset. So Serena doesn't feel like it is enough to just say that. So she continues to talk to them and be like, I want a portrait of all of you with your faces showing, with the proud faces of the handmaids of Gilead. And then the aunt immediately realizes, as soon as she says that she used to have a handmaid and she sees June's face, the aunt immediately realized, okay, this is going to shit. So she goes gets Rita, which is technically with Serena, but secretly aligning with the handmaids and the aunt, and produce the sleepy cake. She goes gets Rita because she knows this is going to turn into shit. And the dynamics of these people are wonderful. And Rita plays a role as her little friend of Serena's who made her cake and just manages to get her out in time for June not to freak out and for Serena not to see June. It was so well done. Like, I was stressed the whole time. They did so well. I'm impressed about this. And then the goddamn cake is red. I was so happy about that. Thank you, Rita. And Rita even using that opportunity to tell the handmaids, remember what you're here for. Keep your eyes on the prize, ladies. It was beautiful. Like the layers of these scenes where there's this layer where like Serena is the only one who doesn't realize that everyone around her is playing her. And there's this like other layer completely hidden within the surface of them plotting against her and plotting against all of them. It was so much fun, guys. I'm repeating myself too much. And then seeing everyone eating the cake and seeing the goddamn menace that is Lawrence telling Naomi, no, go ahead, have more. I wonder what's going to happen to Lawrence. Like, is he going to escape with them? Is he not going to? No, he isn't. He's going to be there because we see him saying, like, Serena asks what's happening and Lawrence says, like, revolution or something like that. What I'm thinking is maybe because someone commented on a video a while ago that when the US Army and Mark enter a house in Gilead, that house is Lawrence's. So I'm thinking that maybe like they go to Lawrence's first, they establish like a base camp there, like a secure place to coordinate everything through. And then once the rebellion has started and they have like the chaos as a distraction, they go to Wharton's house because Wharton is a very important high commander. They go to Wharton's house, and that's where Lawrence meets Serena. And that's what, like, imagine if Lawrence walks into Wharton's house with the US military behind him, and like he faces Serena, and Serena asks, so what's happening? And he says, revolution. And they go, I mean, it makes sense for them to go to Wharton. Wharton and Serena right now are the face of goddamn Gilead in Boston or something. So I'm wondering what's going to happen to him, because he's not going to be asleep. So potentially he's going to be what? Monitoring the situation. We shall see. I'm so sorry that I'm not making like coherent theories. I'm too excited about the episode to make coherent theories, but I will discuss with you in the comments. Let's start the conversation there, and my thinking gears will start turning and we'll talk about it. And you know what? The tension never lets up until the moment we kind of see Belle. And the fact that it was in the eye. I will talk about it. Because the whole time we are waiting for Serena to come back to the handmaids and be like, okay, time for the portrait. And then we see them leave. And as they are preparing to leave, goddamn Lydia appears because she bailed on her appointment and she came back. Surely her instinct was like, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen at the wedding. And she came back and she sees a glimpse. She sees a glimpse of June, and she's like a dog who's caught a smell. She's like that one character from the first Twilight movie who catches the smell of Bella and never lets go. Like, she would pursue June to the ends of the earth after she saw that one little glimpse. Like, the face of June is so engraved in her mind. One little glimpse, and she had her. And the fact that Lawrence's intervention was like saying, girl, you're losing your mind. Have some cake. Like, he didn't even say cake. He said fruit. It was the other end. It was like, oh, let's get her a steak and some wine. And ouch. And some cake. I really enjoy that. Like, I really enjoyed that. The tension was amazing. And just all the dynamics and the layers were amazing. I loved it. I'm so sorry that I'm like so fangirl right now, but. And you know what was amazing? The fact that I don't have anything here. The fact that Aunt Lydia called June by her name, because what else can she call her? Because June is of no one, and Fred is freaking dead, and Lawrence has a wife, and Janine was his enemy, whatever. There's no other name she can call her by, because all those times where she referred to June as Offred, and then of Lawrence, and whatever, and now she has nothing. She can only call her by her goddamn name. Loved it. Loved it. I'm so sorry I'm so deranged. You might only get this video tomorrow. Now, Serena. It starts very well. It starts so nice with him picking her up and she's so happy, and the happiness lasts 2 seconds. It lasts 2 seconds because then they're like, ooh, very cute together, and it pans to the goddamn handmaid, which was a gift from, I don't even remember who it was a gift from, because people are not gifts, asshole. Anyway, they separate. They are like this in their profiles, and then there's a handmaid right there. And Serena goes off. I was not expecting this drastic reaction from Serena. I was expecting a lot of it to be hypocritical, but no, she seems to actually have changed her mind. And here I need to say something about this, because I know that there's going to be people watching this show feeling like, okay, there is a possibility for redemption for Serena. There is a possibility. But I need you to understand that the only reason Serena is actually potentially maybe have this change of mind, this reflection about the fact that forcing women to be assaulted and impregnated is inhumane, is because she herself is now fertile. Think on that for a second. Because if New Bethlehem ended and Serena wasn't married, I want you to take a guess as to what they would do with her. Take a guess. Please take a guess. And like, her whole reaction was interesting and all, but I don't think this means the redemption arc for Serena is yet, because truly the only reason I feel like she feels for the handmaid is because she has the potential to be one. It's like, because she doesn't want to tear Gilead down. She married the goddamn commander. She was ready to start New Bethlehem and to make a new Gilead and make a better Gilead. But I mean, Gilead has to fall. You can't just create a better system and then not punish all the people who were responsible for the previous system. It's like creating a new Germany and giving high positions to all the enforcers of the regime without punishing them. You just can't do that. And the fact that she doesn't understand how far the change needs to go, that the whole system has to fall, tells me that she is not ready for a redemption. She isn't. Honestly, I honestly genuinely think that the only reason she's a lot more empathetic towards the handmaid is because she has the potential to become one. Because simply put, she's fertile and she was in a vulnerable position where she was unmarried. So there you go. But then the whole discussion, the whole conversation between Serena and Wharton is so goddamn interesting. Like, the writing for this episode was good. Because Commander Wharton is like, oh, say hi to Off Gabriel. And Serena is like, no, that's not her name. And when Serena goes to the handmaid and kind of forces her to tell her her name, she's not even realizing the position she's putting the handmaid in. Because the handmaid is the one person in this household with absolutely no power. No power. So by making her tell her name, she's making the handmaid disobey everything that she's been taught. She's making the handmaid do something that in the Red Center would have gotten her tortured or beaten or shocked or something. And Serena doesn't realize these things. She hasn't come around enough to understand that if she wants to break down the system, she has to play to it like June does and the handmaids do. And I thought that was very telling and interesting. Like, the dynamics are incredibly interesting. And then they have that fight where Serena says, you just like the rest of them. And he's like, hey, enough. And he forbids her to leave. And Serena gives us the most hard-hitting line potentially in the season. Like, maybe I'm exaggerating because I just watched the episode, but it was, and just the fact that it came from Serena when Wharton says, I'm a good man, I'm a good husband. And she says, you can't be a good man because you are a commander. I literally was squealing when I heard that, like, Serena, baby girl. I don't think she completely understands that same logic applies to the fact that she and June can't be best friends because she was a wife. I don't think she has gotten there yet, but this is a good step. This is a good step. And this is where I think I wasn't completely wrong maybe in seeing something else in Wharton, because after this, he allows Serena to leave. And in my mind, I was thinking, yeah, he allowed her to leave because she has nowhere to go. Where the hell is she going to go? I think they're in Boston at this point. Where is she going to go? She's got nowhere to go. So, of course, he lets her leave because, like, where is she going to go? And I mean, I don't think we even saw it. Maybe the grounds have a gate. Maybe she can't pass through the gate. Maybe he let her go out so that she will spend the night outside and then be forced to come back in again. But in like the little back of my mind, I was thinking, perchance, Wharton is like somehow the male version of Serena, where he believes the system and he understands the faults that the system has. And when confronted with them, he can recognize them. Like when he was confronted with the idea that he can't be a good man if he's a commander in Gilead. And also the implications that this has for the exploration of Nick as a character. I guess we will talk about it in the next episode because there's not much to say about him in this episode, but I loved this line. I was okay with the scene. I still think Serena is very hypocritical in a lot of things, and I do see a change, but I mostly see a change because Serena's circumstances changed, not because she realized that she was wrong to abuse women, but because she realized she was in a position to be one of those abused women. It's very easy to have empathy for someone when you could suffer the same thing as they did. And then Aunt Lydia, like the goddamn cop, the goddamn spook this woman is, that she figures out everything, that she figured out June was there, that she figured out something was wrong because the goddamn cakes were in the goddamn floor. Like, no one even saw those cakes. She was the only person who saw the cakes. And when she saw the cakes, I was like, no, Aunt Lydia, no, why are you so smart? God damn it. And she returns to the center, and we know that the girls in the center are just waiting for everyone to fall asleep to rise up, and the other girls have already gone to their houses. We saw that little scene of them, as we've seen many times in this TV show, of them going in the group and then separating, going into each household, and we know what's going to happen in each household. And at the same time, we see Aunt Lydia return. She sees there's something fishy when she sees the goddamn ant sleeping. And you know what I loved? I love that ant was ready to slash Aunt Lydia. Loved it. But I mean, of course, she sees a machine gun and she's like, oh, better not. Better not. And before we have the Lydia, Janine confrontation, we see the moment June does what we've all wanted to do. She gets into Belle's house. Baby boy Belle is asleep. He's just woken up. He's gotten a call because by now there's news of bullshit that is happening potentially. It's like, what did you say? Repeat that. And then you hear the step. And then you hear another step. And he knows immediately who that is. He knows immediately it's June. And it's just the fact that she stabbed them in the eye for Janine. And then Janine, the little angel that she is, just came down and very quietly, very softly said, thank you. Oh my God. My heart was suffering in a good way. And you know what's even funnier is that he wasn't afraid of her. He wasn't even afraid of her. Like, I don't think he really thought she could do anything, because when he faced her, he wasn't afraid, and he's a coward. So we know that if he was afraid, he would have shown it. He wasn't even afraid of her. How beautiful was that? Like, I want everything good for Janine. I want baby girl if no one else escapes, please allow Janine to escape. Honestly, I want everything. I hope that when Naomi is sleeping, Lawrence snatches up Charlotte and just gives her to Janine. And if they save no one else, please save Janine. Like, please save Janine. That's all I want. We've already had the Aunt Lydia moment. She has the potential. I will discuss it in a second. She has the potential to turn now. We've already had some form of it. Please, I just want Janine and Charlotte to be out of there. I want it to be the reason for why Lawrence wanted to drug Naomi even more, so that he can take Charlotte and give her to Janine and escort her to Canada. Please. That's literally all I want from this episode. Like, next episode, when they are hanging people, I want Janine to be on the other side. I want her to be out of the fighting place. I don't want her fighting. I don't want her exploding anything. I want her to be with her baby in Canada. Safe and sound. Please. And then the Aunt Lydia moment. First of all, I just have to say, a contrast. Again, the contrast. How beautiful that all of the handmaids, they had the courage to do this. They were, hurt enough that they wanted to do this, that they wanted to take the goddamn knives and free themselves. But you even see it when Aunt Lydia uncovers one of them, how terrified they are. And when they are found out, they are just huddled on the floor, crying, begging for forgiveness, because they've been there for months, potentially years. That's all they know. And the difference between them and Moira, who has already been there, who's been at the Jezebels, who's been in Canada, who's working with May, she's been through it. The courage of her, to just rise up and be like, you bitch, let go of her right now. The contrast between the recently tortured handmaids being completely terrified and Moira having had a lot more happen to her, a lot more character development, and being like, I'm not going to be afraid on the floor of this bitch. I'm going to rise up. And it was so good. I'm so sorry that I'm such a fangirl in this episode. I just really enjoyed it. And then we see June return, and she gives her little speech, and this is not what I wanted. I wanted something a lot more rough. I wanted Lydia to feel like in her face all of the hurt that she caused these girls. But I understand why they did it. I think it was smart. They are still playing into that idea of we have to play the system. That's the only way we're going to get our shit done. We have to play the system. And Lydia is still part of the system. Like when Janine was hugging her, I was thinking, ew. But it makes sense because that's what Lydia wants. Lydia wants to believe that Janine is her girl. That's the only way she's going to allow all of them to go. And I feel like her turning is going to be very similar to Serena's in this sense. And I didn't want this. I wanted something else. I wanted her to realize how shitty of a person she's been, but I don't think it's going to be that way at all. I think the turning is going to be similar to Serena's, where they realize that certain parts of the system are broken, but they still defend the system. I could definitely see how that's how Aunt Lydia is played in the Testaments. And I mean, I don't love it, but it's still a smart resolution. It's still a logical resolution to use these characters as who they are and play them as who they are and try to, change their minds on the very small things that they can actually reach with their frame of mind. Because at this point, Lydia completely turning towards Gilead maybe would be a little unbelievable because she's been part of it for so long. She's been defending these values for so long. And we even saw in that conversation between Lydia and Serena a few episodes ago when they were talking about the fertility center at New Bethlehem, where they both agreed, okay, this is a good solution for these people, these handmaids that we both at this point kind of agree have been abused. So I understand how the turning has to be very small or in small bits. So I was okay with it, but it wasn't exactly as I would have wanted, but it's okay. Like, it was well done. Using the idea of God as like a weapon to make Lydia understand how her religion is so contorted from the original message was intelligent. So yeah, I'm okay with it. Then they leave. They leave as an army, and we see the handmaids inside the houses in their postings come out of their rooms with the knives to off the commanders. We see the handmaids running in the street. Hopefully they will catch up to the handmaids in the postings. They will rescue them all. And we know they are not going to make it to the other side. Like, we know they are not going to all be free or all be successful because we know there's a hanging coming. And at this point, I'm kind of hopeful that Aunt Lydia will be in on the plan in the hanging. Lawrence will be in on the plan. Like, a lot of people will be in on the plan at the hanging. So I'm kind of hopeful that Aunt Lydia is as well. But we know not all of them are going to escape. If any, they are going to be hung by their crime. They're going to be hung by their crimes. Thank you, one commenter. And that's when the revolution will start. It will be next episode. I'm sorry that I'm so not critical this episode. I just really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much. I think there's been certain things in the season that were a little but they just made it up with this one episode. It was so much fun. Like, the tension was so good. The release at the end, seeing Belle stabbed in the eye and the handmaids going for the other commanders. Why do I have that? Oh, Jesus. I don't think I even have anything else to say. I just really loved it. I hope for a good ending of the season. I really do. Like, we need it. As a group of people, as society, we need it. But yeah, that's my review of this episode. I'm very happy with it. As I said before, comments. I will get my thoughts rolling probably after editing and going through this one more time. So yeah, comment to discuss everything. Maybe I'll come up with a few theories for the next episode. I might do another theory video, or maybe like a season finale predictions, something like that. My only hope for the ending of this episode is that at least Charlotte and Janine can escape, please. At least them. And yeah, I will see you next week. Definitely, maybe a bit sooner if I have another theory video or another exploration video. Right now, I'm very interested in Serena and Lydia. So maybe that will be it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching and for like engaging so much in these videos about this show and for being so open to talking about certain things and like, not being too, for the most part, when I've talked to people in the comments, you aren't too fixed to your own opinions and you can discuss them very openly, which I think is really nice and I appreciated it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching and being here all the time and watching my video and engaging with me in the comments. It's been really fun. And yeah, again, if you want to support me and what I do at the channel, you can like, comment, subscribe, share the video around to some of your friends and neighbors. But don't the same joke in 2 videos. And yeah, you can join me in my YouTube membership or on my Patreon. And yeah, that's it for me, guys, today. I'll see you probably tomorrow. Maybe with an extra Criminal Minds video. Perhaps. Bye, guys.